They're running out of places to breed in New Jersey. A small blue songbird that lives in the northwest corner of the state is becoming harder to find, and the federal government may soon be taking steps to protect them. Environment reporter Ed Rodgers has the story.
It's a sound that's disappearing in New Jersey, the song of a male cerulean warbler. The 4.5-inch bird spends the spring and summer in the forested corridor area of the Delaware Water Gap. Don Friday leads field trips and conducts bird surveys for the New Jersey Audubon Society. The warbler is easier to identify by its call than to see in the wild.
Oh, and there's the cerulean right over our heads. It's a treetop specialist. It requires large tracts of mature forest with a high canopy, and when I say high, I mean at least 60 feet high. It requires a well-layered forest. Feeds mostly on caterpillars, also on other insect life.
A recent study has found some troubling signs for these songbirds. Since 1966, the population has dropped 70% nationwide, 60% along the East Coast. The main cause of the cerulean warbler's decline? A loss of habitat. Large tracts of forested land are disappearing. Researchers say that alarming decline has also been detected in New Jersey. A recent count found only 157 male cerulean warblers left in the state. To put that in perspective, Friday says there are more than 1,000 times more white-tailed deer and about 10 times as many black bears in the state. The Highlands area of the state was historically a region the ceruleans could be found. It's an area the McGreevey administration has targeted for preservation. These warblers have now disappeared from highland locations where they traditionally bred.
The cerulean warbler is particularly sensitive to forest fragmentation when people cut roads, power lines, and especially development, either housing development, commercial development, whatever.
Researchers also blame the destruction of Andes mountain rainforests in South America, where the warblers spend their winter, as well as overgrazing of the forest understudy by deer as causes for the plummeting population. Because of the drop, about 40 environmental groups have petitioned the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to put the cerulean warbler on the federally threatened species list. That status would block the use of federal money for projects such as roadways that would destroy habitat. It would also require the Fish and Wildlife Service to establish a management plan to bring the songbird population back to a healthy level. Friday says without that designation, the decline may not be reversed.
And that would be a terrible shame. I mean, to not be able to have your children and grandchildren see a cerulean warbler, one of the most beautiful birds in the forest.
The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is expected to make its decision in October. Ed Rodgers, NJN News, Worthington State Forest, Warren County.